Hey, you guys. I am so excited. I hope you all are doing amazing. I'm so excited to have this amazing person. She is changing the world. She has been 46 years vegan. I hope I got it right. Adama, thank you so much for coming on our channel. And I appreciate you and your time and your service that you're doing for us in the world today. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Thank you, Bernice, for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Now I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, but I want you to just flow.
Okay.
I just want to start off like in the beginning, like when you was a child, how was your eating habits?
As a child, they fed me the standard American diet, um, and I was sick most of my childhood. All right. I was 7 when I realized that I should not eat meat,
Oh,
and I wasn't given the option. I'm at dinner with I'm watching my mother prepare a meal, and I'm saying, "What is that?" She says, "Lamb." I said, "But what is it?" She says, "Lamb." I said, "But what is it?" She says, "Lamb." I'm like, "A baby lamb?" I was like, "Oh no." So what's chicken? She's like, "A bird." I said, "A real bird?" "Oh no, I can't eat that." And then she told my father that evening when he got home from work, and he was like, "You better eat everything on your goddamn plate. I'll beat your goddamn ass." That kind of thing.
mhm.
So I was throwing their cigarettes away at 7. I was throwing their alcohol away at 7. I was just really, but I was in and out of hospitals with profuse nosebleeds after open heart surgery at the age of 4. All
Oh,
right. And at the age of 4, I had to have 40 pints of blood transfusion. Why? Because of all of the garbage that they
mhm,
call food. Right. And
mhm,
so, and it would seem like somebody would have given my parents some understanding as to how I should be fed, but nobody knew. And the pediatrician who actually saved my life died 2 years later at the
wow,
age of 42
wow.
from leukemia. And it was as a result of my being at her wake. Dr. Lulabelle Stewart, they have a center in Detroit named for her at this day. And
Mhm,
Dr. Stewart was married to, I think his name was Dr. Philip Robinson, and they had 3 children of their own. But she passed away from some surgical thing, but leukemia. And I just could not understand what death actually is as I'm seeing the body in the casket.
mhm,
And that was at 6 years of age. And so my childhood was basically just permeated with my thought about what is this death and why are people dying? And if God doesn't die and we are the children of God, then why are the children of God dying? And
mhm,
so this was a theme throughout my childhood. I was hit by a car at 10, um, bruised kidneys in the hospital for a couple of weeks. By 11, I was hemorrhaging from the vagina without having a cycle because of my sensitivity and my parents' issues, and I'm like fussing at them, why can't y'all love each other? And I'm throwing their alcohol down the drain and this and that. And so my given name is Regina, right? So nobody would ever call me Regina unless they were looking for their cigarettes and their alcohol. Regina! So that was a beating I was willing to take. and so and so the so when they were divorcing at 11, they said, well, we're divorcing, who do you want to live with? And I was really happy that they were divorcing, right? But I'm
mhm.
like, I don't want to live with either one of y'all. So, so I love my parents. I love my parents, okay? Really love them. But I was like, y'all are giving me the blues. And so, so they sent me to my grandmother in Jacksonville, Florida. So that gave me opportunity to have degrees of freedom that I couldn't have in Detroit.
Mhm.
You could walk everywhere. Started 7th grade, and from 7th grade to ninth grade, um, 10th grade, I was in Jacksonville, and then 11th grade, I went back to Detroit. Got hit by another car. Was in the
Wow.
hospital for 4 or 5 months. had to learn how to walk again, so that by the time I graduated and went to University of Florida, I was walking pretty much with a limp. But it's like I've been in and out of hospitals. I'm stitched up. Nobody would really ever notice
Mhm.
unless they saw me butt naked and they see all my incisions and scars. But the reality is that we have hospitals that are filled with children
Mhm.
because we are under a global initiative that is the escalation of someone's intention to conquer the world.
Mhm.
Now, when I was in school, in college, in high school, you read about these ones who are on a world conquering rampage. Right. So the world conquering rampage that started thousands of years ago has morphed into a global initiative of depopulation and genocide.
Mhm.
And all of the institutions that have taken responsibility to give us an orientation as to what life is and success in life is are conspiring and participating with the genocide
Mhm.
in the church,
Mhm.
because it says all roads lead to Rome. I come from a line of ministers
Mhm.
and a line of educated ones. My grandmother was born February 4th of 1899. She was a Spelman College graduate. All of her brothers went to Morehouse. All of her sisters went to Spelman. My sister went to Spelman. I didn't go to Spelman. I applied to Spelman, and Spelman would have given me a 4-year scholarship, but they didn't have on-campus housing, so I went to the University of Florida. Now, had I gone to Spelman, everybody's life would be a little different. But being at the University of Florida in the mid 70s, when blacks didn't start going there till 1972, and
Mhm.
I was admitted in the class of 1975,
Wow.
30,000 students of the 30,000, 1,500 were black.
Wow.
And so I pledged Delta Sigma Theta in my freshman year to give me an orientation with my own folks so wouldn't get lost in the sauce.
Mhm.
And so it was during my junior year that I really realized, after the overwhelming statistics in my sociology course. I was a psychology major with a sociology minor. So in
Mhm.
my junior year, I began to really hear 20,000 Black Americans are dying every year from sugar diabetes. Another 15,000 are dying every year from complications from obesity. Another 12,000 are dying from cancer of the lung. Another 8,000 from cancer of the pancreas. Another 6,000 from this, that, and the other. So my head begins to spin,
Mhm.
right? And I'm listening and I'm asking, what's the cause and what's the cure? And they're saying, we have no cause, we don't know the cure, but because of affirmative action, you're a double minority, you're both black and female, you can get paid for doing the research. And of course, we can show you how to slant your study to prove whatever it is you're hypothesizing. And in
Mhm.
my mind, this is like piss poor and pathetic, because I didn't go to college to really be doing research. You understand? I went to college because, one, growing up in Detroit during the riots after Dr. King's assassination, and the city was on fire, and you had military tanks rolling up and down the streets and police arresting your neighbors and whatnot for looting. I'm just saying is that, no, I didn't really go to school for that. I went because my mother made me. I wasn't really trying to go to school.
Mhm.
I really never had an orientation that my life would not be whatever if I didn't get a college degree. I wasn't of that mindset.
Mhm.
But even as a child watching the March on Washington, everything in me knew that I should be progression of us as a people at
Mhm.
the age of 5 and 6 years old. So here I am at 19, and I'm getting these statistics, and basically they're saying that no matter, and this is my questioning, you're saying that no matter how much education we have, no matter how much progression there is, that we're going to be dying in greater and greater numbers.
Mhm.
It makes no sense.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so, if your education does not provide you the wherewithal to be able to increase and ensure and optimize your longevity,
Mhm.
then what good is your education? All right. But then I realized, as a psychology major, that psychology is the base study for how you literally undermine a person's natural intelligence to get them to do that which is not in their best interest
Yeah.
in terms of the advertising, in terms of us being hoodwinked and bamboozled to think that Coke is the real thing, to think
Mhm.
that the fast food industries are really giving us something that is in our best interest because now we have been socialized to perceive that our jobs and our career are what we should be aspiring towards, and we're too busy now to feed our families a healthy meal. But then because we never got any real nutritional edification throughout our education. It didn't come in private. It didn't come in private school, public school, elementary school, junior high school, or college
Mhm.
as to how to eat for
Yeah.
optimum cellular functioning. How to really respect the reality that you're perfectly and divinely designed. You
Mhm.
understand? And you could be fed the flesh of dead animals, the aborted fetuses of chickens, the pus and mucus of cows, artificial colors, artificial flavors, all of the paste trees, the pastas, the donuts, all of the flour and water. And I remember when we were in elementary school, right, that you take flour and water and make paste. And we did our paper mache with that. So
Mhm.
now our lungs and our bronchioles are filled with years, decades of paste, which is
Mhm.
mucus,
Mhm.
binding these chemicals. And so from college, when they told me that they did not know what the cause and what the cure is of our dysfunction, the disproportionate percentage of us.
Mhm.
All right. So at that time, African Americans were considered to be about 12% of the North American population. But
Mhm.
to have 70 or 80% of us affected by that which is uh, heart disease, cancer, high blood pressure, obesity, all of the statistics of our ill health. But then when you factor in the single headed households, the divorce rate, the juvenile delinquency, the abortion, the teenage pregnancies, and whatnot, it's making it, and then they presented it as if to say, because of the uh, all of the numbers, all of these statistics, that this is kind of like the evidence of your inherent inferiority to us.
Hmm. Wow.
And I began to ask God to show me what this is, because I was getting absolutely no insight from these people who are professing as
Hmm.
professors,
Mhm.
professing to know something that they cannot even address. And
Mhm.
you're taking 17, 18-year-olds, taking them through a 4-year process of adulteration. And I say adulteration because as freshmen, we had 24-hour visitation, right? As freshmen, we have access to the beer, the pubs on campus. So between classes, we could go to the pub and have beer and popcorn between classes. I'm just saying, is
Mhm.
that we are put into an adult situation. An adult is short for adulterated. So by 21, we're all labeled adult,
Mhm.
right? And so the whole path of adulteration is seeded from being fed like kids, given the flesh of dead animals, the aborted fetuses of chickens, the pus and mucus of cows, artificial colors, artificial flavors. And no matter how much education we have, nobody's changing the game. So
Right.
for all of the people, and this is irrespective of hue, race, ethnicity, or religion,
Mhm.
for all of us to be feeding our children this garbage at this late date, filling these hospitals up. We've become doctors, we've become lawyers, we've become judges, we've become superintendents, we have become all of what the society has allowed us, but we did so eating the flesh of dead animals, the aborted fetuses of chickens, the pus and mucus of cows. So, no, we can't see anything differently.
Mhm.
So, we're just participating in the progression of error.
Yes.
The church supports it, the educational, the miseducational system supports it, the
Mhm.
general society supports it. And I'm
Mhm.
saying at this particular point in time, we as a populace, as a global populace, irrespective of hue, irrespective of race, irrespective of religion, irrespective of any of it, we are under a global initiative of depopulation and genocide that affects absolutely all of us.
Mhm.
And at this particular point, where you do not have a conscious intention to exalt a full effort in your living, and you are complicit and complacent with your own cellular oppression, then there is no way within the earth, upon the earth, within the heavens or the hells, that you will ever self actualize, self realize, and walk in the greatness of who you were born to be as this living, loving, intelligent, potent, and immortal point of the presence of this absolute and supreme intelligence that is beginningless, endless, infinite, and eternal. You understand? So the divisiveness started with the religions. Oh, well, I'm Muslim, I'm Christian, I'm Hebrew, I'm Moor, I'm Jew, I'm this, I'm that. No, it's just divisiveness.
Mhm.
Divide and conquer. All
Mhm.
right. Divide and conquer based on that. Now it's divide and conquer based on social economics. Oh, well, those people, they're so poor. You understand? How can you go into other people's lands where the people have lush greenery, waterfalls, fruit falling from the trees, and herbs and the medicines at their feet, and then convince these people that they're poor?
Mhm. Wow.
You understand? So we're
Yeah.
talking a global thing. So too often, people who have been listening to me as I've been on radio with WRFG for the last 24 years, producing a program, talk radio interspersed with message music and make you feel good, shift the
Mhm.
energy and the frequency and the vibration of wherever you are in that moment, right? For
Mhm.
24 years, not getting paid for it. Let go of my $1 million business to do radio for free because I realized that we need to be mentally and spiritually supported and reminded that we
Mhm.
already dwell in the reality of eternity. We're on a planet that is a biospheric intergalactic spaceship
Mhm.
spinning in eternity that's 80% water. Now, how in the hell does that happen? How are we being how are we being maintained and sustained in flotation? 80% water on a sphere and a planet, and then we have no respect, no regard for the
Mhm.
intelligence of existence that is beating our heart, maintaining us, spinning the planet and blazing the sun, and is the force and life of existence. And then we want to pay attention to bozos and people who have no real orientation for what it is to be intelligence personified.
Mhm.
You understand? So I'm suggesting that we realize that there is one real eye that sees through every eye. It sees through the eye of the fish. It sees through the eye of the crab. It sees through the eye of the of every order of being, and every order of being is under siege. So to be about liberation, you have to be about the liberation of all orders of existence.
Mhm.
So we're not even having a conversation about liberation now. We're having a conversation about the economics. We're having a conversation about the politics. We're having a conversation about digital currencies and all
Mhm.
in you understand, it's like nobody is really focused on the reality that you have to leave the planet. You should
Mhm.
be leaving the planet as a living being. Now that's destiny.
Yes.
All right. But
Yeah.
have we been prepared for even understanding what the purpose in being on the planet actually is?
Mhm. Right.
That's the source of the problem.
Mhm.
That those ones who took responsibility for giving us an orientation as to what life is and what success in life is never gave us an orientation as to what purpose in being on the planet actually is.
Mhm.
So you can make all the money you want or generate all the money you want. You understand? But to be a detriment to yourself, to take your life currency and trade it and barter it and give it for a paper currency, and then you
Mhm.
take that cryptocurrency and you buy the flesh of dead animals, the aborted fetuses of chickens, the pus and mucus of cows, artificially colored, artificially flavored, NutraSweet candies, and all of these things that we're giving to our children, the Doritos, the Takis, the sodas, the Powerade, the Gatorade, the Kool-Aid, that is literally undermining one's own immune system so that acquired immune deficiency syndrome is everywhere present. We're not calling it that. We're calling it diabetes. We're calling it fibromyalgia, we're calling it endometriosis, we're calling it all of the things, the cancer, the this, the that, the other, but not respecting that the body is perfectly and divinely designed, that we were perfectly and divinely designed to regenerate.
Mhm.
So that we call food, I'm saying it is the tool of our oppression,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Everybody is supported in eating it.
Mhm.
In order for you to send your children to daycare, if you don't want your children to have it, you have to have some kind of doctor's note.
Mhm.
All right. So there's no respect for mother. There's no respect for a mother or a father making a determination that their children should not be poisoned.
Mhm.
Submit to the educational system, and you see it with COVID. In order to go to school, you got to be shot up with poison. Like vaccine. You understand? In order to teach, you have
Mhm.
to really be in a place and space where you are submitting to a system of oppression, further oppression. You're already oppressed. How do we know
Mhm.
we're oppressed? Because we're not out thinking foolishness. It's foolish
Yes.
to think
Yes.
that you can feed off the carcasses of dead animals when the primary law of existence is thou shalt not kill. If thou
Mhm.
shalt not kill, then thou shalt not eat of the flesh of that which has been killed.
Yes.
You understand? So let's get back to purpose in being upon the planet, right?
Mhm.
Life is beginningless, endless, infinite, and eternal. Life is beginningless, endless, infinite, and eternal. Every
Yes.
order of being exalts a full effort in its living. It does nothing to undermine itself. It knows its food, it excretes its waste, it knows its kind. It
Mhm.
makes, perpetuates itself, and it has the sense to respond when it senses that its life is being threatened,
Mhm.
right? The
Yes.
people, on the other hand, are feeling entitled to undermine ourselves. We feel entitled to do to do things that undermine ourselves. We feel entitled to let the devil permeate and penetrate us in every atom and every cell of our being. Now it's all in the brain, it's all throughout the whole system of things because our behavior has been modified. And this is the impact and the effect of the artificial colors, the artificial flavors, the nitrates, the nitrites, the BHA, the BHT, the pesticides, hormones, antibiotics, and all of these chemicals that are now saturating throughout the body, held in all of the paste and the mucus.
Mhm.
You understand? So when I speak as the voice on behalf of our liberation and our resurrection, I
Mhm.
speak on behalf of our remembering that we are already immersed in nothing but eternity.
Mhm.
We're perfectly and divinely designed as intelligences of existence, man, the progenitor of lineages, womb, man, the perpetuator of lineages. And now we've gotten to a point where we don't want to do that, or we don't know how to do that. But to not just be having babies, but to be the insurance of the progression of our lineages, to be ensuring the success of our being able to participate consciously with the will of existence for its continuation
Mhm.
in existence. But the genocide is intended to phase our lineages out of existence.
Wow.
The genocide is poisoning more and more children.
Mhm.
But how are college educated people participating with the oppression of the populace and the children, knowing that children grow up to be parents and grandparents and great grandparents and great grandparents and great 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 great. You understand? So I'm just saying, at this particular point, if you want to be, if you care, see, you have to care. You're never going to do anything that you don't care to do. But if you care to be respected as an intelligent person, you cannot be killing yourself.
Right.
You cannot be anesthetized and inebriating, degrading, you understand, and willfully participating in the
Mhm.
ditches and valleys of degradation. You understand? And this is what the drugs have done. So during the civil rights movement and the Black Power movement, what did they do? They flooded our communities with heroin,
Mhm.
flooded our communities with drugs. Now it was the cocaine and it was the crack. You understand? And
Mhm.
used to be you didn't even see women out here on the streets. Now you even see women out here on the streets
Yes.
begging or whatnot. You never really saw women. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. So when the brothers came back from Vietnam, and now you see the brothers with the signs, veterans and whatnot. What happens when they go over there? When they go to war, their spirits are usurped because it is not the purpose of any being to participate in this onslaught of other beings.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So the
Yes.
militarism, the prison industrial complex, you understand, feeding us like kids lays foundation for our inability to outthink this.
Mm-hmm.
Feeding us like kids creates the cellular oppression so that one within the school systems, we're not able to think. All
Right.
right. And so we're being labeled all of this because we can't keep still. But we're
Mm-hmm.
being fed artificial colors and sugars and behavior modification, and all the behavior is being modified from the time that we're youth, but we're participating with it as mothers and fathers, as grandmothers, as aunties. Oh, well, give the baby a child. They got to have a childhood.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Give them, and it's like for those ones who now are bringing their children forward, then DFACS is showing up, the protective child and children services is showing up because we're trying to do things without the system of things, but end up going back to the system.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they see that you don't want the shots, you don't want your baby to be shot up with all of these things, and that it becomes red flag. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? Or they feel like they can take the baby from you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so I'm just saying the whole system is sick. We're not under white supremacy. We're under stupidity, idiocy, and severe insecurity on crack. You understand? There's no such thing as white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
There has always been an initiative to oppress us as a melanin dominated people all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am calling us to care. I am calling us to rise. I am calling us to realize that this is not about veganism and vegetarianism. Now, if it took 45, the 45, 46 years of my being strict vegetarian, and I say strict vegetarian because my interior of my car is leather,
Mm-hmm.
purses are leather. You understand? I prefer the leather than the pleather. It gives me, you understand? Right? It's like
Yes.
you didn't have to kill any more animals because the animals that you all are eating, their hides are then cured and whatnot. And that was an art that came long before the meat industry,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I say strict vegetarian because now they say, oh, well, you could be vegetarian and still eat eggs and still eat cheese. And I'm saying, no, vegetarianism is about fruit and vegetation. Now they're saying I'm vegan, but veganism is not, it's not intended for, and so this is another level of divisiveness,
Mm-hmm.
right? As
Yes.
human feeders or useless eaters. Oh, I'm a carnivore. I'm an omnivore. I'm a vegetarian. I'm a lacto-ovo vegetarian. Oh, I'm a pescatarian. Oh, I'm a keto. I'm a this. I'm a that. I'm saying no. We're all these living, loving, intelligent, potent, and immortal points of this absolute and supreme intelligence, and we're all perfectly and divinely designed. And none of us are designed to eat garbage. None of us are designed for the flesh of dead animals, the aborted fetuses of chickens, the plus and mix of cows, all of the starches. Mother Earth does not grow starch.
Wow.
All right. So we shouldn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
We are literally breatharians. Everybody is a breatharian. How do you know? Because you will die without breath. The breath is the animating, maintaining, sustaining force of existence itself.
Wow.
Now, all of the paste, all of the pancakes, waffles, breads, biscuits, toast, cheese, eggs, vegan cheese, all of this stuff begins to clog
Mm-hmm.
the breath. And then for those who are vaping, those who are smoking, right? It's a disconnect with the intelligence of your being because your lungs are the organ of the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to live with my grandmother at 11, I would go visit the cemetery, right? But
Mm-hmm.
in Florida, in Jacksonville, the cemetery was in the yard of the church. In Detroit, you have to drive to the cemetery.
Mhm.
And so I would go visit the cemetery and I would see the tombstone, and there would be a cross at the top of the tombstone. Then there would be a name, and there would be a date, there would be a line, and then there would be another date. Okay,
Mhm.
the first date is the day that they were born, or the day the spirit entered the world, or the day they
Mhm.
took their first breath, right? The
Mhm.
last date is the day that they exited the world, the expiration, first date, the inspiration, the last date, the expiring, the exiting of the spirit, or when they took their last breath, or when they died,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Or they made transition, right? So we and then the line constitutes the life. The line that constitutes the life is the respiriting. That's your respiration. So your breathing is the respiriting of you,
Mhm.
right? And so when you're smoking and burning those lungs, you are literally undermining the organ of your spirit.
Wow.
And it is the breath that keeps us in connection with the intelligence of our being that other ones would refer to as God, that I'm referring to as the absolute and supreme intelligence that
Mhm.
is everywhere present, fills all spaces, is all pervasive. There is nowhere where it is not. We are immersed in this absolute and supreme intelligence, like whales are in ocean. We are in an ocean of absolutely nothing but eternity already. And the earth is as big as a period at the end of a sentence in relationship to the rest of all there is. And then they got us believing that we should be dying. I'm
Mhm.
saying, no, death is a program.
Mhm.
Death is a program. You shouldn't be dying here. Why
Right.
should you be dying? Is the sun dead? Is the earth? Is the air dead? I'm saying we're made from the same stuff, and people say, "Oh, we're made from the stardust." Is it dead? It's not
Yep.
dead. So why should we be dying? We're dying because we've been eating garbage. We're
Mhm.
dying because after 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years of the rot of carcasses in the body, creating the proliferation of worms and maggots and organisms and stuff, parasites that's permeating your tissues, and the doctors really don't talk about it. And some of the shows that deal with hospitals will show that people are coming in with issues, and they'll pull out the worms, or they'll see a whole you understand, you've seen that on television, but the
Yep.
doctors never talk about it,
Right.
that the body is full of living organisms that
Mhm.
are laying eggs,
Mhm.
feeding off of what you are not able to digest,
Mhm.
because we cannot digest flesh. We are not flesh eaters. We do
Mhm.
not have the hydrochloric acid to dissolve it,
Yes.
right? And
Mhm.
so we're having to realize that by the time you get 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years of pus and mucus binding all of these chemicals, it just literally snuffs out your life force. Your life currency, it just becomes depleted. Now in second grade, science said energy can never be created nor destroyed. It's merely transformed.
Mhm.
I'm saying, but I'm looking at the people and I'm seeing depletion
Yeah.
of life currency
Mm.
when we should consistently be regenerating, rejuvenating, revitalizing, and revivifying.
Mhm.
But in order to do that, you have to respect your perfect and divine design. And as a result of being fed all of this garbage, then cleansing needs to be what you do daily, not what you do a few weeks at a time, not
Mhm.
what you do on the solstice or the equinox, but what you do daily, just like you get up and you brush your teeth and you bathe and you swab your ears and blow your nose. And you understand, you bathe the outside of the body between the legs, crack of the behind, but then you put shit down the throat into the trunk. You understand, where
Yeah.
all of your vital organs are in the trunk. So we putting junk in the trunk through the orifice called the mouth,
Mhm.
and then not being conscious and conscientious about all the bacteria that stays in the teeth from chewing flesh. You're
Mhm.
chewing the carcass of a dead animal,
Mhm.
and then all of the flour that turns to sugar, and all the sugar and all the bacteria, so that over time we're having all these dental issues because nobody ever taught us how to take care of the greatest gift that we were given, which is ourselves.
Yes.
There is no wealth that is greater than life itself.
Mhm.
You could take all of the money that has ever been printed, all of the coin that has ever been minted, put it all together. It does not have the value of one beat of our heart or one breath that we take. Now, coming to a point in place where people think that they're rich because they got the paper, they're rich because they got the notes. All right. So whether it's the paper currency, whether it's the stocks, whether it's the bonds, you're talking paper. The trees
Right.
are more valuable than the paper. The paper is coming from the trees. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So we're bulldozing the trees, right? To have the
Mm-hmm.
paper. So we got printing paper, we got toilet paper, we've got paper notes, we've got paper bonds, we've got paper, but then we do not reverence and worship the greatest wealth that is ourselves.
Yes.
That's the trick.
Mm-hmm.
Now we respect the manufactured specifications for the oil that we use in our cars or our motorcycles or our trucks. You understand? We
Mm-hmm.
respect the gas that goes in there. You understand? If I drive a Mercedes, I'm not going to put regular unleaded gas in my Mercedes. I have to put premium gas in my Mercedes. You
Yes.
understand? So I'm just saying we respect the manufactured specification for how to keep our vehicles running, but then disrespect that there is a perfect and divine functioning of these bodies and how to really facilitate it, ensure it, and participate in its optimum functioning for the 80, 90, 100, 150, 120 years of life upon the planet. And no matter how long you live on the planet, you need to be able to get out of this body without having died, without having deteriorated, without having drowned in all of this sewage and sludge that has become the bloodstream. So the spirit being charged upon the blood, the quality of the blood is going to be created by the substance and the quality of what we're consuming,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
so when you go to the doctors and whatnot, and they tell you what your levels are and your numbers are and whatnot, I'm saying, well, what are they basing that on? What are they basing it on? They say, oh, it's normal. I'm saying normal in relationship to what?
Wow.
Because nobody's been fed properly.
Mm-hmm.
The medical profession, the pharmaceutical industry, the meat industry, the dairy industry, the tobacco industry, the alcohol industry, it's like, no, these are the forces of Satan, Lucifer, and the devil,
Mm-hmm.
the deceivers. You understand?
Yeah.
The ones who are the wolves in sheep's clothing. Those
Mm-hmm.
ones who make you think you need someone to intercede between you and that which beats your heart and breeds you. But that which beats your heart and breeds you is with you.
Yes.
It sees through your own eye.
Mm-hmm.
It has gifted you the intelligence of yourself. Coming
Mm-hmm.
to a point and place where we really are reverencing, because see, when we were young and we were in church, and I went to church. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
been to church since I was 11 though, because they couldn't talk to me about death. You understand? And then looking at the crosses on the graveyard, right? And I take a panoramic view, stick back, and I'm seeing all these crosses on all the graveyard. Then I look up and I see the cross on the church. I was like, oh no, I can't go there. You understand? The
Wow.
mind of a child. I was 11. Okay, no, I can't go there because that's what.
Man.
And so I
Man.
haven't been to church since, but I come from a line of ministers.
Mm-hmm.
And of the line of ministers, I'm the first one to give up the meat, the dairy, the eggs, the chicken, the fish, the alcohol, the tobacco, the
Mm-hmm.
refined white sugars, all of the white rice, potatoes, all the mucus stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Because I realize that what we've heard all of our lives in terms of salvation comes through the blood of Christ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Our responsibility is to create the blood of Christ as our own reality, not
Mm-hmm.
to drink somebody's blood and say, here, this is, how they used to do first Sunday communion. They give us the
Yes.
grape juice of the Mogan David and say, here, this is the blood of Christ, drink it. We ain't supposed to be drinking nobody's blood. Come on. We're,
Wow. Yeah.
we're here to create the blood of Christ, the bloodstream that bears no violation of violated beings, no inebriants, no intoxicants, no artificial colors, flavors, and all of this that puts us in a position where we are not able to be in harmony with the
Mhm.
will of existence. We're not able to be vehicles and vessels of the love of God. We're not able to really think with the mind of God. We're not able to be about the purposes of ensuring the progression of our lineages to emerge upon this planet as the evidence of the will of God, to be the truth of our duty, obligation, and responsibility to be the kingdoms and queendoms of God emerging upon a planet where the forces of Satan, Lucifer, and the devil are crumbling.
Mhm.
This is not about veganism or vegetarianism. It is about salvation. It is about deliverance. It is about our resurrection. And when you are steeped in sickness, illness, disease, and death, you cannot really have a conversation just about health and wellness when you are already halfway dead.
Woo. Wow.
It has to be about your resurrection. It has to be about your reorientation in the reality of who you are as this point of an absolute and supreme intelligence that never intended for you to undermine it as you.
Mhm.
But no, the people don't want to be that righteous, sister. We don't want to be that clean. We don't want to be disciples of truth.
Mhm.
No, we just want to be in the clubs. We want to be showing our ass. We want to, you understand? We want to be in ratchet in the ditches and valleys of degradation
Mhm.
because we think it's fun to be killing ourselves. Well, sister, you got to die from something. I'm saying, so you happy killing yourself. I'm saying that's a program. That's how we know our behavior has been modified because it is absolute insanity. It is the evidence of our stupefaction,
Mhm.
the inebriation, the intoxication. Now you got alcohol everywhere. You understand? Whole Foods is selling alcohol. And I went to Birmingham and I went to Whole Foods in Birmingham. It was the first place I saw where you could actually sit in Whole Foods and drink.
Wow.
Now
Mhm.
you got rows and rows and rows of alcohol in your grocery stores, in the package stores. You understand? It's not just package stores. It's not just. It's not. You understand? Now, with
Mhm.
when the mass manipulation to slow everybody down, to put us in on
Oh yeah.
lockdown, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
The package stores didn't close.
Right.
The churches did though, right? And that's how you know there's something seriously wrong with these people.
Yes.
You understand? And then for Obama and them to sign off on it, and Tyler to sign off, Perry to sign off on it, and all these ones, urging you to go and take something you don't know nothing about.
Mhm.
But they don't urge you to eat fresh fruit and vegetation.
Wow.
They don't urge you to be impassioned about the greatest gift that you were given, which is your life.
Mhm.
They don't urge you to raise completely up at a time when we have so much death around us. The children are dying. I'm telling the babies, I said, y'all ain't so cute where you can't die.
Mhm.
You understand? People are burying their babies every day
Mhm.
because they're all clogged up, because our wombs are all clogged up.
Mhm.
And so at this particular point in juncture, we have to realize that because we're breatharian, we have to breathe. Our bodies are 80% water, like the earth is 80% water. 80% of our nutritional requisites should be coming from water based things.
Mhm.
That's our fresh fruit, our leafy greens, things with seed, and our herbs. Other than that, you really don't need any of the stuff that is available for you as vegans, as vegetarians, or as whoever, whatever foodie you may be. You understand? I'm just saying food, what we know is food is a tool of oppression.
Yeah.
We have to make the distinguish and be able to discern that which is true fuel for us.
Mhm.
So it is the breath. You can't even digest food without breathing.
Mhm.
You understand? You can't get the oxygenation going to the brain. So you got 100,000 miles of blood vessels capillaries, veins, and arteries throughout the body. I'm saying, how could we disrespect something that is so perfectly divinely designed? And we're not designed by Caucasians. We're not designed by Europeans. We're not designed by men at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then we disrespect ourselves. And we follow those who have no love for us. They have
Mm-hmm.
no love for themselves, because when you love self, as you were told, thou shalt love thy mother, father, creator, God, the Lord, the law, with your whole body, heart, mind, with all of your mind. I ain't been to church since I was 11.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Yes, yes.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So the things that we really require for life, we have it. We don't have to whore for it. We ain't got to prostitute for it. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? We do not have to do anything but accept the blessedness of our being and consciously care to honor and to love and to exalt a full effort in our living, because we, particularly as the wombed man, do not have to be licensed, certified, and degreed to be women. You understand? We had
Yes.
to be licensed, certified, and degreed to be nurses and doctors and surgeons and lawyers and all of this. But we do not have to be licensed, certified, and degreed to be women or to be real men.
Mm-hmm.
But you must know law. So when I changed my diet in college, because when I went to God and I asked God to show me what this is,
Mm-hmm.
then I realized, I saw my angels were like showing me stuff, that meat, dairy, eggs, chicken, and fish, alcohol, and tobacco, all of which I was dealing with by this time. Even though I
Mm-hmm.
was throwing it away at 7, here I am at 19, smoking and drinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
I realized that these are the businesses of the same lineages and generations who beat us, raped us, enslaved us, sodomized us, you understand, set us afire, hung us, right? We could have
Mm-hmm.
called some of them great granddaddy, great great grandmama, whatever, but they didn't deserve another dime. I'm not giving them another goddamn dime. And I went from eating everything to having fresh fruit in the morning, huge salads in the evening. I went from 127 pounds to 103. I'm only 5 feet tall,
Mm-hmm.
with no additional exercise in 45 days.
Wow.
That I did not have to labor over my books anymore. I could, the level of comprehension and retention
Mm-hmm.
was like through the roof. I could go to class, I could listen, I could pay attention, I could hear what was being said, but then I could hear what was not being said.
Mm-hmm.
Read between the lines. I could form critical questions. I brought my professors to their freaking knees. They cried like babies with me.
Wow.
And then my ministers was like, this little sister's bad. We gonna send her to law school. I said, y'all ain't sending me nowhere. You understand? I'm not going to law school. Why? Because if I go to law school here in Florida, then if I move to Montana, I'm gonna have to study law some more.
Mm-hmm.
Because you understand? Because there, amongst men there is no law. Men don't make law. Law exists.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
understand? Law
Yeah.
exists, but we're not taught the law.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as we have the opportunity to do what we've not seen done, in loving this absolute and supreme intelligence that is beginningless, endless, infinite, and eternal, with our whole body, heart, mind, with all of our might, coming to a point and place where we are uncompromising about the reality of the divinity, the sanctity, and the sacredness of all being, we will no longer support the violation of other ones.
No.
Now, Miss Chicken deserves her life. She wants her eggs. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we eating the fetuses of other beings?
Right.
You understand? So
Mm-hmm.
the ostrich don't have the right to her babies. The crocodile, the alligator don't have the right to their babies. These ones are eating everybody's eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So when I ask brothers and sisters, I said, would you eat your mama's eggs? Would you eat your mama's eggs? And they be like, oh no. I said, so why are you eating the eggs of something that you don't know nothing about?
Right.
You don't even find chicken naturally in life. Chicken is only found where it's been cultivated.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain
Exactly.
things that are natural in life. You see the possum, you see the squirrels, you see the hawks, you see the owls, you see all kinds of birds, all kinds of things. But pigs and chicken and cow and whatnot, you only find them where they're being cultivated for human
Mm-hmm.
consumption. They are not naturally grazing animals in life. You see
Right.
the deer.
Right.
You
Mm-hmm.
understand? You see
Yes.
wild pheasants sometimes, but you don't see what we're seeing that's ground up and put in cellophane, styrofoam packaging that's been filled with nitrates and nitrites to make it look like it's fresh.
Mm-hmm.
You kill a thing, it's no longer oxygenating. If you don't have anybody breathing in it, it's not going to stay arterial. It's not going to stay red. It's going to be putrefied. So all of that is dye and chemical.
Wow. Yes.
And so my calling us to remember and to respect the reality that there is order in existence, and we've heard all of our lives cleanliness is godliness.
Mm-hmm.
But the cleanliness has to be established internally.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those I counsel and I consult with so many, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I realize that we've had so many surgeries, we've had so many procedures, we've had so many prescriptions, we've had so much miseducation. But we have to remember that God is with us with each and every breath. We were
Mm-hmm.
told to knock and the door would be open, to seek and we would find.
Mm-hmm.
We were told through fasting and prayer the desires of our heart would be granted unto us. The
Yes.
fasting is not, and you know, I know a lot of people, everybody fasts every day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. When we break fast, we need to be facilitating the body's cleansing
Mm-hmm.
daily. But we have to be in a place where we are caring to literally mature in our lives. Because in the realm of eternity, old means that you are filled with nitrates, nitrites, BHA, BHT, artificial colors, artificial flavors. You have been nutritionally deprived and deficient for decades. You
Mm-hmm.
understand, where your whole life force is being, you understand, where you can't even stand up straight anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Wow.
depletion. That's death. You can't
Mm-hmm.
breathe. You see people running around with oxygen tanks, having to sleep with CPAP machines, having to have breathalyzers and whatnot because of how much congestion and all of that is permeating the entire body.
Mm-hmm.
To be made in the image and likeness of God means that you are slender because God is in the air, it's everywhere. And people be like, oh, I can't lose no more weight. I'm saying you're losing waist.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid. The culture have us think, oh well, you know, I want my woman to be plump and I want her to be voluptuous and and all of that. And I'm saying, okay, all that's all well and good if you're gonna be a slave to a man's appetite.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're not, as women, we're not to be enslaved to men's appetite. That's why we have so much abortion. Abortion is the number one killer of us as a people. We're aborting more babies than those who are dying from cancer and heart disease. And heart disease is the number one killer of all people. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So, no, we need to have a reality check here. We need to realize that to be in the light of the truth of the one that you are means that you have a care to be in the harmony with the will of God, the
Mm-hmm.
order, the law, the light, the truth, the wisdom, the peace, the poise, the power, the discernment, the discrimination. You understand? That way you don't get entrapped with these people. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? Now, when you adulterate it, and you are a detriment to yourself, you're a house divided against yourself, then you really don't have the same grace and protection.
Yeah.
That's how you're entrapped. And you're hoodwinked and bamboozled to go into the military and to go into this and go in here. And now we got licensed, certified, and degreed so that instead of healing people, we're dispensing medication.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of healing people, we're feeding them the flesh of dead animals and the same stuff that made them sick in the hospitals as nutritionists.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of healing people, we're following the orders of someone who doesn't even care to even talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if the doctor didn't tell us, then we can't do this. And I'm saying, we have the right responsibility, duty, and obligation as women to know how to facilitate life and to know how to facilitate people
Wow.
as women.
Mm-hmm.
And so at this particular point, do we care? Do we care to raise
Mm-hmm.
completely up so that we are a glory and an honor to the lineages through whom we've come? Do we care to walk in our own authenticity and authority as these points of the presence of this absolute and supreme intelligence that is beginningless, endless, infinite, and eternal, to honor those ones who were sacrificed, those ones who were hung, those ones who were beaten, those ones who did not make it across the oceans in the Middle Passage? Do we care to be an honor and a glory to the lineages that we represent? Do we care to ensure the progression of our lineages? Do we care to make sure that our children and our grandchildren live a greater life and have access to the fullness of who they are as conscious immortals? If you don't care, then you'll never do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not about veganism and vegetarianism, even though you cannot be eating the flesh of dead animals and the aborted fetuses of chickens and the pus and mucus of cows. But people are not realizing that your blood, your body, and your tissues are still filled with it, even though you stop eating it. You're
Yes.
still in danger. The chemicals are still there.
Mm-hmm.
The herbs doesn't get it out. So no, our daily ritual of living in honoring life, in respecting and reverencing our own living, is to clear and cleanse and purify ourselves daily so that we are walking in greater and greater degrees of love, light, wisdom, truth, peace, poise, power, and potency to the glory of the lineages through whom we've come and on behalf of all orders of being. Because as we saw when everybody stayed home
Mm-hmm.
and the cars weren't up and down the streets, the earth was regenerating.
Yes.
We don't understand the power of love. Love
Mm-hmm.
is the harmony of the truth that we are all these points of this absolute and supreme intelligence that is beginningless, endless, infinite, and eternal. It says, know ye the truth, and the truth sets you free.
Mm-hmm.
We're all being marginalized, anesthetized, inebriated, intoxicated, stupefied, dumbed down, poisoned.
Mm-hmm.
We each have duty, obligation, and responsibility to invoke the greatness of the lineages through whom we've come as the richness and the wealth of our own lives. There's greatness in our lineages, even though we may have not seen it through the past few ones whose names we can call because they were under the adulteration.
Mm-hmm.
You understand, the alcohol, the tobacco, the sugar, and all of that. So we saw the fighting, we saw the drunkenness, we saw that degradation.
Mm-hmm.
You spend 16, 17, 18 years with the people, and then it take you 60 years to get over it. You notice?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
People be like, well, I was abused. I say, shit, we was all abused. You understand? Feeding everybody Kool-Aid and Nestle's Quick and cornflakes with iron filings and all of this stuff. No, we were all abused. Okay.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. That's real. Mm-hmm.
But why are
Wow.
you doing it to your children?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you still perpetuating this foolishness? You understand? And to have a vegan form of the same garbage that we grew up with is just it's you're doing absolutely nothing for yourself. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen so many vegan vegetarians pass away. Breast cancer, uterine cancer, respiratory disease, you understand, prostate cancer and whatnot. Why is it cancer? Because the nitrites, BHA, BHT, iron filings, and all this stuff that we got when we were children is still in the body,
Mm-hmm.
which is why my protocols are calling for the clay. Now, how old is the earth? We don't know how old the earth is,
No.
but people are afraid to bring the earth into the body.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what gives our fruits and vegetation any life-giving properties is the soil. is
Yeah.
the earth. It's in the earth. It's the minerals as well as the the unseen things, the organisms, the bacteria and whatnot that's in the earth
Mm-hmm.
that's facilitating the nutritional value of any of the fruits and vegetation that we would eat.
Mm-hmm.
But the clay is found deeper within the earth. And so many of us, when we were growing up, we had a craving for chalk, cornstarch, argo starch, flour, baking soda, right? Dirt, mud pies, right? Because the DNA was kicking in. The
Mm-hmm.
DNA was saying, okay, you're being poisoned. You got all these chemicals. Have some dirt. The dirt is going to help pull this stuff through your system. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was around Dr. Sabi, I said, Sabi, what about the clay?
Mm-hmm.
I spent a little time with Sabi. I interviewed him. I prepared meals for him when I had my restaurant. You understand? And he couldn't speak to the clay. But I've been dealing with this clay for the last 40 some years.
Wow.
The clay is found deeper within the earth. So we're not talking surface dirt. But
Mm-hmm.
most of the people that I talked to, particularly those who came up in Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina, they remember their mamas, their aunties, somebody eating dirt, clay.
Mm-hmm.
They've had people who were basically in the mountains or in places where they didn't have access to so much food and found that when they did the testing, they were perfectly fine, but they were eating clay. The
Mm-hmm.
clay is the natural detoxifier for the nitrates, nitrites, BHA, BHT, and all of the chemicals. So we're
Mm-hmm.
drinking it and we are flushing our system
Mm-hmm.
daily. We're cleansing daily so that we are able to really facilitate our cleansing. And yes, we crave it when we're pregnant. Why? Because we're preparing our bodies for a new being, right? And the clay has so much minerals that the food that we're eating has no minerals. These people taught us you need protein and starch. So when you talk about, changing the diet, people say, well, how are you going to get your protein? Protein is a byproduct. You understand? It's not something that you need to eat. It's not giving you any energy. It's creating a taxation on your organs to even break down animal protein in order to reassemble any kind of amino acids that they might have gotten from the grass or the sorghum or whatever they were eating that was plant based
Mm-hmm. Yes.
to make our own protein. So I'm just
Mm-hmm.
saying at this particular point in juncture, we have to trust the earth. There's a symbolism to the clay also, the red clay, the deep red clay. Now the Hebraic meaning of Adama is red earth.
Mm-hmm.
Adama also means queen. Regina means queen, right?
Mm-hmm.
It also means spirit earth mother. Adama. A is earth, Da is father, Ma is mother.
Wow.
All right. And so the clay, it charges you. You have some people when they fast, they get really spacey,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're ungrounded, they're unsettled. The clay is grounding, right? But it helps to pull. Now, most people have are not aware, or I'll put it this way. Do you remember the red rubber bags that our grandmothers or mothers or great grandmothers, depending on how old you are, had hanging in the bathroom? These red rubber bags with
Mm-hmm.
a white hose. My brother, he said, "Yeah, my mom had that, and I used to put Kool-Aid in it and give people 5 cents a squirt."
Wow.
But they never knew what it was for.
Was.
So the internal cleansing, right? The internal cleansing of the colon as well as the womb, the vagina, is a necessity because everything is going to cleanse.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is trying to cleanse, and we're just blocking and obstructing the cleansing that is happening daily. We don't give our bodies permission to cleanse.
Yeah.
And so we want to be in a place where we are literally doing what is truly in our best interest in exalting a full effort in our living, but exalting a full effort in our cellular liberation, since the methodology of our oppression
Hmm.
is our cellular oppression.
Yeah.
So we cannot look to the politicians and the politicians. You understand? We cannot look to legislation. You cannot think that voting and participating in a system of oppression is going to give you any degrees of freedom when you are a detriment to yourself and your cells.
Hmm.
When you are anesthetizing, inebriating, intoxicating, and violating your own bloodstream and that of your children. So we have to align ourselves with the victory and the triumph that is already won. That means
Hmm.
that the will of God, the truth of God, the light of God, the intelligence of God is going to outlast, outlove, outplan, outplot all of the ones who are planning and plotting our demise. You understand?
Yes.
Because
Hmm.
nobody can outthink the intelligence of existence.
Hmm.
You can't outthink it. So when
Hmm.
the oil spills happen in the Gulf or in other places, a bacteria forms that eats it up. You understand? I'm just saying that the intelligence, we have to trust it. It's always going to do what's in its own best interest for its own continuation and its own glorification and its own expansion. It's gifted itself to each of us so that we can participate in the greatest reality that is life.
Yes.
That is beginningless, endless, infinite, and eternal. So when we leave this realm, we should be leaving as living beings, not as dead people.
Hmm.
We should have come to the degree of care and love to exalt a full effort and to be able to respond correctly and directly to what is needed in our now moment.
Hmm.
And so, yes, people they have to realize that you cannot continue to participate with a system that secures your death and then think that you don't deserve to die.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize what you do unto others is being done unto you.
Hmm.
There is
Yeah.
law that people would call karma,
Hmm.
and it could be good karma, bad karma, or otherwise, but we have to realize that we now must take responsibility for resubstantiating the substance and the quality of our being is the
Hmm.
work. All
Yes.
right. And so we're in the period of the exaltation of the divine feminine. I
Hmm.
appreciate all the brothers. Love me some brotherhood, right?
Yes.
But for all of those ones, from the Dr. Savies to the Dr. Clark to the Dr. Ben to the Dr. Africa to the Dr. Valentine to the doctor. We got all this information about our glory and antiquity and we being kings and queens and Kemet and all of that. And I'm saying none of it means a freaking thing if the sisterhood is continually killing themselves and living raunchy.
Yes.
You understand?
Right.
Womanhood should not be raunchy. You understand? I'm like,
Hmm.
why are you all not dressing? Why don't you cover that ass? Why are you in a place and space where you don't want to come out here and be clothed? I don't get it. But then
Hmm.
you're going to feel a way when you get negative attention from those who are lustful.
Hmm.
You
Yes.
understand? So I'm just saying is that our liberation requires the elevation and the exaltation of the divinity, the sanctity, and the sacredness of our being and the
Hmm.
sacredness and the divinity of womanhood.
Yes.
Because when you look at the pictures, if you have pictures of your grandparents, great grandparents, or your great 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 grandparents, you see that the intensity of their eyes
Hmm. Hmm.
has is still imprinted upon that photographic paper.
Hmm.
And you don't see them with their legs spread and their
Right.
pants sagging and tobacco hanging out their mouths and all of this. And you don't see them all bent over. You see them upright.
Hmm.
My mother, my daddy, and them used to tell me, "Don't go out here acting an ass. 'Cause I'm gonna beat your ass when you get up in here." You understand? And I'm saying, I'm very much aware that
Hmm.
even though my parents and my grandparents and my great grandparents have are in some other realm and dimension and whatnot. I'm not gonna be down here acting an ass. I'm not gonna be out here showing my ass. I'm not gonna be out here acting like I ain't got no sense, like I'm not from the ones that I'm from. I'm from great people. I know that I am.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And I know that the further we go back from the great, 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 it just gets greater and greater and greater. So why y'all acting like y'all ain't who you are? Be who you are. Stand in
Yeah.
the light of the truth of who you are. Honor the ones through whom you come. Don't let them see you out here all slumped over in the ditches and valleys of degradation and the valley of the shadow of death and the shadow of the valley of death. You were not here to put here to be dead.
Right.
You
That's right.
understand? Death is a program to have you in a place where you are unable, unresponsive, uncaring
Mm-hmm.
to do that which is yours to do in the exaltation of life. And being vivid in your own self reflection and self expression. See, there is no political consciousness that is
Mm-hmm.
greater than vivid self expression and self reflection as divinity personified.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Now, these sisters, and I have to address it because it's painful to see sisters in a place and space where we do not have a moral compass
Mm-hmm.
that is about our liberation and our resurrection. You have sisters who are exalting their sensuality and their sexuality as the expression of their spirituality.
Yeah.
You understand? And
Mm-hmm.
we're all into the tantra and we're all into all of these things. And I'm saying, but can you articulate a curriculum that ensures the liberation of your lineages?
Mm.
Yeah, you could drop it like it's hot and you could twerk it and do all of these things. You understand? You could trap men up in that body. But the issue is none of that will liberate you.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
understand? In terms of liberation being the state and condition that we come to as a result of being in love with the law and serving life and exalting life and clearing, cleansing, consecrating these bodies as temples for the re-enthronement of the true spirits of the living gods and goddesses. That is our truth. We have
Mm-hmm.
to take responsibility for the quality of character that we are nourishing and nurturing and strengthening. We have to come to a place where we care to walk upright. We have to be in a place where we're uncompromising so that we don't get caught having to have more abortions. So we don't have to get caught, having more babies that we don't have men to support us, whose children they are. Well, where's the daddy? Well, I don't know where he's at. You understand? I mean, we can all say it because this is part of the divisiveness
Mm-hmm.
to have us in a place where we want to be mothers, but we don't want to be wives. We want to be fathers, but we don't want to be husbands. We don't know. We don't have. And see, this is the really the culmination of having been fed that which has no nutritional value.
Mm-hmm.
That nutritional deficiency is the foundation of the immorality. Nutritional deficiency is the foundation of being emotionally immature,
Mm-hmm.
spiritually out of alignment,
Mm-hmm.
so that we are not able to really cultivate healthy relationships,
Mm-hmm.
family relationships, marriages, business relationships. Every relationship that you're in is a relationship with another aspect of yourself or another aspect of God. So,
Mm-hmm.
but when we are out of alignment and attunement with the divinity and the sanctity and the sacredness of our own selves and ourselves, then everything is skewed.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I teach. This is why I am on radio. This is why I am providing us with support to clear, cleanse, to consecrate these bodies. Consecration comes with the power of the word. This is why I give affirmations. This is why I give audio files. You don't just get some herbs from me. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? You're
Yes.
getting a whole protocol,
Mm-hmm.
including the dietary recommendations for us, including the spiritual empowerment and light and love and law and that which gives us the insight as to who we are as these points of the presence of the all there is.
Mhm.
We are no longer in the day of God worship. We are in the day of creator worship, right? Because all the gods, when you ask a child who lives in heaven, and they'll say God, but they never say goddess.
Yeah.
You
Right.
understand? We always say God, he, but then you
Mm.
don't have no he's around you doing anything for you.
So true. That is.
Right? You're just saying. So we have to acknowledge the God, goddess, you know what I'm saying? The reality of the all, because when we look at the intelligence of existence, we see that it is male, female, both, and neither.
Mhm.
And we're having the experience of experience ourselves as male, female, both, and neither, because
Mhm.
we are intelligences of existence. We are here to function as intelligence does, always in the best interest of ourselves, but always in the knowing that there is only one self.
Mhm.
I met a brother, met a European brother at when I was, I guess, about 20, 21 here in Atlanta. And it was at a reggae uh, concert with a couple of the brothers, you know, who are now well known in the reggae music world, right?
Mhm.
And so, the European guy asked me if I would dance with him, right? And I
Mhm.
had been having these dreams about having an interview with Walter Cronkite. Now, some of you may be too young to know that Walter Cronkite was, you know, one of the lead anchors for night TV news, you know, that was very popular when I was coming up. And the
Mhm.
conversation was, how does it feel to be a white man seeing all of the devastation that you all create in the world,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
so, of course, I couldn't have a conversation with Walter Cronkite. So when the brother asked me, European brother asked me to dance, he looked at me as if to say, if you don't dance with me, it's because I'm white. So I danced with him, you know, and we danced. And then after we danced, we sat and we talked. And I had never, even though I was at the University of Florida, 30,000 students, 1,500 black, I had
Mhm.
never been that close to a European or Caucasian man
Mhm.
to look into these light blue eyes, right? Now,
Mhm.
in junior high school, one of my best friends was a Caucasian girl, Holly, and Holly and I we were tight, right? But she had brown eyes.
Mhm.
But this was like light blue eyes. I've never been that close to somebody to look into their blue eyes. And when I
Mhm.
looked into his eyes, I literally could only see myself.
Mhm.
And this brought me to the remembrance of being a child. And we must have been about 8 or 9 years old. And we would square off on the corners of the porch and sit boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl. And we would sit really close to each other and we would look each other directly in the eyes. And you couldn't laugh and you couldn't smile. You understand? So if you laugh or you smile, then you out, right?
Right.
So
Right.
so so that was part of our, I don't know, we knew to do that.
Mhm.
And so grandmama and them used to say, don't you look me in my eyes, you know, but that's part of the slave master thing. Don't look a white person in the eye. You
Right.
understand? But the
Mhm.
reality of it is that there is only one eye that truly sees through every eye.
Mm. Yes.
And we're having to, and so I asked him the question, and he said that he had never been able to relate to
Wow.
any of the oppressive because he grew up poor.
Mhm.
He grew up in a poor community in North Carolina. You understand? And so he was able to talk to me about some of the prisoners of war and, you know, some of the political prisoners of war. You know,
Mhm.
he was very conscious at a very real level. And so we have to get beyond this black and white thing. It's not a black and white thing, it's an intelligence issue
Yes.
that everybody has been oppressed.
Mm-hmm.
Every body needs cleansing. Every
Mm-hmm.
spirit needs to be charged to remember the divinity, the sanctity, and the sacredness of themselves and their lives, and that there's duty and obligation that we all have in the exaltation of life and ensuring the progression of our lineages, particularly being under a global initiative that is intended to phase our lineages out of existence.
Mm.
And so we've seen in apartheid in South Africa, we've seen that there are a few that are trying to manipulate and undermine the masses and the many. We've seen that there are those who expect the few to do for the many. And I'm saying, no, it's time for the many to do for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? These people can't control masses of people once we realize what the issues are.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? They can't put us in a place where we can't exalt a full effort. They can't make us buy poison. They can't make us smoke and drink and be stupid. They can't make us do that now that we are realizing that we are these points of this absolute and supreme intelligence that is beginningless, endless, infinite, and eternal. Not that
Mm-hmm.
we realize that these bodies are perfectly and divinely designed, that we're being cleared, cleansed, purified, renewed, healed,
Yes.
whole.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes,
Not
ma'am.
that now that we know that we can harmonize ourselves with absolute law, which is absolute love, that we want for ourselves, that which we want for our neighbor, and the chicken and the pig and the cow and the turkey and the owl and the possum and the deer and every order of being has the right to its life.
Mm-hmm.
It was a divide and conquer frequency. So now that we're exalting a full effort for our wholeness,
Mm-hmm.
now that we're not a detriment to ourselves, now that we're clearing, cleansing, and consecrating, the consecration is the power of the word. In the beginning, there was the word was God, the word was with God. There's never been a word spoken except it's been spoken through someone.
Yes.
We have the power of our word. The faculties that we've been given are the faculties with which we are able to literally be empowered to create heaven in our own realm. We dwell on one planet, but we live in different worlds based upon what's going on in these bodies.
Mm-hmm.
My husband and I, when we were dating, we traveled and we were like going to a Walmart in South Carolina, somewhere to refresh ourselves, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then we weren't walking together. I was walking ahead of him to get to the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, he kind of starts flirting with me, right? And he
Mm-hmm.
says, "So how are you today?" I say, "I'm absolutely fabulous. How are you?" He say, "How you gonna be fabulous and we living in hell?"
Mm.
I said, I said,
Mm-mm.
I'm dwelling in the presence of the absolute and supreme intelligence. You're in hell because you're in the hellaciousness of that body that's full of all of that stuff you got in there, right? And I
Mm-mm.
kept walking, right? And that's what we have to realize is that what's going on in you is
Mm-mm.
going to lay foundation for your perspective, your perception, and your ability or your inability to respond correctly to that which is needed in any now moment,
Mm-mm.
right? And so you could still be vegan and vegetarian and still be acidic and toxic.
Mm-mm. Yes.
You understand? You could still be full of meat, dairy, eggs, chicken, and fish and have an inherent knowing that there is love that you need to be exuding because you are a child of God. We hear the ministers talk about God all the time and they full of it. You understand?
Yes, ma'am. Mm. Yes.
And so we want to be in a place where we are dealing with the integrity. And this is what I've seen over the years is that people will share the reality of what their epiphanies, their realizations, their revelations, their thoughts, their opinions are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. And we love YouTube and we love those who've created these platforms and technologies so that we are able to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But you have to create a filter. And the filter that we create so that we don't get lost in other people's tangents
Mm-hmm.
is the wholehearted desire for absolute truth. And that's what really I started in college. I was an organizer for the Black Student Union at the University of Florida. All
Mhm.
right. Now, we'd only been 3 years. And so I had the responsibility of picking up from the airport Stokely Carmichael,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And and so we drove from the airport, and he was talking to me about where I was and who I am, and then he starts talking about Africa and giving me the All African People's Revolutionary Party book list and all of this and all of that. And I'd already changed my diet. Right,
Mhm.
I was in the midst of the losing the waist and coming into this frequency because I was really about truth, right? But
Mhm.
it was not any of that. The conversation that I had with him privately, it was seeing that at that evening, as he addressed a student population of, I don't know, 400 students or so, of which there might have been 100 of us, right?
Mhm.
He began to really do the question and answering. And whatever the questions and answers, and this is what really triggered me, is that nobody could dispute him.
Wow.
So what was he talking about? He was talking about Israel and Palestine. He was talking about same old stuff that we still got going on. There has been no resolution, no
Mhm.
solution, right? And so
Mhm.
I realized that that's where I needed to be.
Mhm.
Not getting a master's degree and a PhD in psychology, right? But I
Mhm.
needed to be in a place where I could not be disputed.
Mhm.
And that's the truth. When
Yes.
you are in the truth,
Mhm.
and that's why we were told, know the truth, and the truth sets you free. Free from the lies, free from the delusions, free from the theories and opinions and the speculation of all of these ones, to know the truth. So every fiber of my being was bathed in my wholehearted, absolute desire for absolute truth.
Mhm.
And at that point, I didn't really need my education anymore. If my mother hadn't told me, she said, graduate, just graduate. Just graduate. You're so close. Just graduate.
Yes.
I was so full of these people. I'm like, oh, hell no. Y'all can take those degrees and shove it straight up. You understand? Because your degrees hadn't changed a freaking thing. You
Mhm.
don't know anything at this particular point if we don't know how to eat and we don't know how to feed.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
so at this particular point, we have so much available to us. We are the beneficiaries of the realizations, the revelations, the epiphanies, the truths, and whatnot of so many ones who cared to
Mhm.
know, to ask, to seek, to apply themselves. But we have yet to see what loving God, loving life, loving the law with our whole body, heart, mind, with all of our might. We've not seen what that looks like. We love
Mhm.
our chicken wings. We love our Hennessy. We love our cognac. We love all of the things that's poisoning us. We love our oppression.
Mhm.
We love our inebriation, our intoxication. We love our cars better and we treat our cars better than we're treating and honoring our children. You
Yeah.
understand? At this
Mhm.
particular point, the world as we know it is fit to be destroyed
Mhm.
until we raise completely up and become the salvation, the salts of the earth, because it's our time
Yes.
to rise completely up,
Yes.
to free ourselves from the accumulation of the nitrates, nitrites, BHA, BHT, all of the chemicals, the antibiotics. 90% of all antibiotics is used on the animals that are being fed to the people
Mhm.
because of how much infection they already have. Because the nature of the organisms is that they continue to exalt a full effort. So they morph into something that cannot be destroyed with the antibiotics. So the organisms are getting stronger and stronger and stronger. They're facilitating a full effort in their living.
Mhm.
They are having their excreting their waste. They're laying their eggs. They're morphing into a greater version of themselves. So if they can do it, we can do it too.
Mhm. Yes. Ma'am. Yes.
So do you have any questions, any things that I've said that you want to address or have me speak to, if we have the time for that?
Wow, this has been amazing, and like you said, it is not about the vegan. It's so deep, and I appreciate you and the work that you're doing is amazing. Oh my God, it's amazing. I want to share because I've been on this journey, this life changing journey of eating, and I'm on. Uh, I was going to call you doctor, um, mother, doctor, yes, all of that. I'm on her protocol, and I have the clays and all those things, and I highly recommend you guys to go and check her out. And I'm gonna put the link because I do have a link, but I have to redo it because there are people out there. That's my little one giving you. Um, but yes, I am excited. I was excited doing this cleanse and everything, and I need it. And I've been eating what people would call healthy, but my body has really been through a lot. And I eat a lot of rice, all those things, glue, because that
Mhm.
causes mucus. Uh, she had me on the mucus buster, some herbs, and the clay. That's my protocol. I don't know what your protocol would be, somebody.
And the enemas
And the enemas, which I gotta
and
tell
the
you.
detox bath.
And the yes. Yes, yes, yes. And I'm like, wow. I had some little things going on because I was eating white rice about 3, 4 somewhere in there ago. And you said mucus, and that's what it was built up in my system, and I've been getting it out. I've been getting out the mucus, and I notice in the evening my body is really going through a cleanse from the clay. It's just a lot, and I am so thankful that you have this protocol and to help people out. And yeah, I feel a lot better than what I was feeling from eating stuff that I thought was okay, you know. But
Right.
my body was telling me no because I was feeling the mucus. I felt that
Mhm.
I was breathing. I could feel it. I'm like, oh no, we can't be. And this rice was very expensive, and you know what is
Right.
called regenerated rice and mm-mm. But yeah, it's crazy. It's not the food, it's not the thing to be consuming. And wow, and I'm just so thankful. And let me say too, I have to put this out there as well. I spoke to you for a long time. I mean, she talked, she wants you to talk. She wants you to call her. Like people have websites and they want you to just click and buy. That's not her. She want to commune with you. And I appreciate that because that is important. It's so important because you get to know the person. And thank you for that.
You're
Um,
welcome. Mhm.
I was gonna ask you because some people they feel like you said earlier that they can just do a detox or a cleanse, 30 days, 90 days, however. But you said this is a everyday, just as we wash our face and bathe and all those things. So it's an everyday thing with
Mhm.
the clay
With
and
the clay, yeah, and the enemas and the
and the,
herbal tea, and then fresh fruit.
okay, yes. Now I also wanted to know the foods doing like do you recommend to add, is it okay to have oils, like let's say you saute mushrooms with some vegetables, or just leave that out and just saute it in water?
I still use oils. We could do avocado oil. I do coconut oil. I do olive oil. But the issue is really not getting it really hot.
Hmm.
Not getting it really hot, and then you could put water in it so that you're actually steaming. The oil is literally locking in the flavor of the herb. So you know that within my protocol, I also have a herbal seasoning for your
Oh,
meals that I developed when I had my strict vegetarian restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
and so, we are in a place where it's like you graduate to certain levels,
Mm-hmm.
because depending on how intensely intentional you are, if you have any issues, so those ones who are being diagnosed with cancer, I'm not suggesting that you do a lot of anything. You got to do a lot of cleansing, and
Mm-hmm.
you need the herbs, you
Yes.
need the minerals, you need the water, you need the flesh, and you need the clay. You don't really have to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Eating is something that we have been trained to do. We don't have to do it. All
Mm-hmm.
right. And so I'm asking people to really get to a point where you are literally doing a lot of just fresh fruit first thing in the morning, and to give the digestive system a reboot. You
Mm-hmm.
want to be in a place where you're doing one thing, one fruit. So instead of having one grapefruit, have two or three.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of having one mango or two mangoes, and then you doing this and doing that, just have 4 or 5 mangoes. Just, because we want that energy to get through the colon. Most people's bodies are not releasing enough waste daily.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
people are under the thought that if you do an enema, your bowels are not moving. And I'm saying most people's bowels are not moving anyway. So at least if you do the enema, you're getting shit out.
Right.
Right.
Yes. Yes. Ma'am. Yes.
Right? And the way that you ensure that the bowels are continually moved, even in doing the enemas, is that you're doing the fresh fruit. You're getting the water, you're getting the fiber, you're getting the minerals, you're getting the activation, and the fruit is easily digested within 20 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fruit is really the better thing. And people say, well, they don't have fruit with seeds. I'm saying, well, the issue is, depending on where you are, eating fruit that don't even have seeds is going to be better than you eating turkey sausage, turkey bacon, soy sage, and all of this, because it still has water, it still has fiber, and it still has some intelligence. These
Yes.
people cannot create from anything other than the intelligence that was already there. Now they can modify it,
Mm-hmm.
they can mix it, they can match, they can do all of that, but can they take the full intelligence out of it?
Mm-mm.
You understand? So I'm just saying is that there's a lot of confusion. And I'm not advocating that we're eating, just going and just picking out on seedless things, if you have access to that which has seed. But to come
Yes.
to a point and place where it matters to us to one, honor your body. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you start your day with a vegan protein breakfast, where you're doing spelt pancakes, and and people say, oh, well, I'm on an alkaline diet, and I'm saying, I don't know what that means. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Fruit and
Yeah.
vegetation is fruit and vegetation. You understand? So vegan and I don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not a necessity. We're having to put ourselves in place where you are literally reversing your issues, but
Mm-hmm.
the cleansing is the issue. And so, huge salads. I'm not necessarily recommending an all raw frequency for people who are just coming off of meat, dairy, eggs, chicken, and fish. Why? Because when you get all of those raw vegetations going on, and that all that gas and all of this stuff is happening because we haven't done any cleansing.
Mm-hmm.
So we can do steam, we could do some saute. You can add the oil, a little oil afterward. You don't have to get any of the commercial dressings. You can dress your salads with your herbs, with your cayenne, a little Himalayan pink salt. The doctors have us scared of salt. They got us scared of fruit. you
Yeah.
know, it's like, come on now, put yourself in a place where you are able to really get to this place where you are not a slave to your appetites.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be completely cleared and cleansed. You want to be healed. Now, we're reconstituting the body to be 80% highly charged mineralized water, as the earth is 80% water. Water is the medium of intelligence that holds frequency and vibration.
Mm-hmm.
So, some of you may be familiar with uh, Dr. Emoto's book on water, and where they took water and they charged the water with certain frequencies and vibration of thought, right? And some of the water and the rice and whatnot. They were charged with, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. And then they froze those crystals and found that it was these grotesque type of crystallizations. But the waters that were charged with love and gratitude and thanksgiving and I love you, you're beautiful, da 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 da, it created this beautiful crystal, all
Mhm.
right, that was frozen water. And so what they realized, right, is that the crystallization of love and gratitude, what I know to be the case is that on our electronic devices, right, we have diodes, right?
Mhm.
These are these things here, these diodes that help with the uh, marginalization of the electric magnetic frequency
Mhm.
of phones. But you can also take pictures of the molecule of water that was infused with love and gratitude, and it does the same thing.
Wow.
Okay. And so if one molecule of love and gratitude in a picture, right? In a picture, you can put on your phone or in your case, on your computers, and all of that to really negate so much of the radiation and the electromagnetic frequency. And this is what it looks like here, right? And
Mhm.
so that is the crystallization of love and gratitude. So I have it in my phone case, in addition to the diodes on the phone case. But can you imagine what will happen when every fiber of your being is infused with love and gratitude? You
Yes.
understand? When
Yeah.
your body has been reconstituted to being 80% water. See,
Mhm.
love is a force, it's not an emotion. You
Mhm.
understand? We have the energies in motion of whatever it is we're dealing with, but we're taking in the energies of frustration, anguish, angst, pain, and
Mhm.
whatnot of the chicken, of the pig, of the
Mhm.
cow, whatever animals you're eating. Now this is being charged upon your blood and is being charged as violation upon your blood. So we're cleansing the blood
Yes.
by eating fresh fruit, leafy greens, and vegetation. The
Mhm.
vegan stuff is not going to cleanse you,
Right.
satisfy an appetite. That yeah, your jackfruit tasting like pulled pork. I mean, really? Is that is that what y'all want to be remembering? What pork? Come on now. I'm just saying is that are you going to really walk the face of this earth as some of the most dynamic spirits on the planet? That is my intention for us. I
Mhm.
can't make anybody want to walk in the truth of themselves, but I can encourage you to know
Mhm.
that you will never outthink this thought.
Yes.
There is no career, there is no business, there is no amount of money, there's nothing that you can apply yourself to that is going to give you the quality of life and the opportunities to truly be in harmony with the will of existence itself.
Mhm.
That there is no lack of intelligence. You
Yes.
understand? There's no lack of life. You
Mhm.
understand? It's everywhere. It's just that when your body is full of sludge, you can't take but so much in.
Right.
You understand? And so when the sisters talk about, well, I don't want to lose it now, I say, baby, if you got to be as thin as the twig on the tree and have the power and potency of your creator rolling and moving through you, I would prefer that. You
Yes.
understand? Than to
Mhm.
be in a place where we're complicit, complacent, and co-conspirating with our own demise and poisoning our children
Mhm.
and undermining the right of our grandchildren and great grandchildren and great great grandchildren to emerge upon this planet as a resurrected people. We are the bridge between those through whom we've come, those who are with us, those that we didn't allow to come, and those who have yet to come. We should not be complicit, complacent, co conspirating, and dwelling in the ditches and valleys of degradation, becoming cash cows
Mhm.
in multi-trillion-dollar industry of sickness, illness, disease, and death, and then think because we got some money in the bank or we got some currency in our wallets and on the computer and whatnot that we've done something. We've done absolutely nothing
Right. Mhm.
until we restore the wealth of the truth and the
Yes.
divinity and the sanctity and the sacredness and the harmonization with our angels, our guides, our guardians, our ancients, and to be able to function under the auspices of our soul.
Mm-hmm.
The consecration, the power of the word, I am this living, loving, intelligent, potent, and immortal point of this absolute and supreme intelligence that is beginningless, endless, infinite, and eternal. I am completely cleared, cleansed, purified, renewed, rebirthed, regenerated, rejuvenated, revitalized, and revivified. I am the evidence of the glory of a living God, goddess that is my truth. I walk in the light of supreme intelligence. I am supremely intelligent. I am a blessing unto all, and all are blessings unto me because I dwell in the presence of this absolute and supreme intelligence. Its will is my will, its way is my way. I am under the authority of absolute love, law, wisdom, truth, peace, poise, power, and potency. There is no harm that can come to me. These people can't do anything against me now that I am whole within myself and I do nothing to undermine myself. My word is my wand, my word is my bond, and I am speaking the word that is true into every fiber and every cell of my being. I am living and loving as a voice on behalf of our liberation. I am heraldess of the eternal. I know that there is no greater wealth and gift than life itself, and I
Mm-hmm.
and every day in my gratitude and thanksgiving and my capacity to be a greater servant on behalf of our liberation, on behalf of our resurrection, to the glory of the lineages that we all represent, on behalf of those that we didn't allow to come, on behalf of those who couldn't come, on behalf of those who've come and gone too soon, on behalf of those who were beaten and raped and slain and died of all of the issues that have crystallized in their tissues as cancer and heart disease and diabetes and all of that. I will do what other ones did not know to do in loving God with my whole body, heart, mind, with all of my life, all of my might, all of my soul, with the intention that when I leave this realm, they will receive me into the exalted realms with standing ovations because I did what was mine to do in living and loving and lifting and inspiring and exalting and reminding and caring and honoring and healing us so that we are restored and reconciled people as these living, loving, intelligent, potent, and immortal points of the presence of God and
Yes.
Goddess.
Yes. Mm. Wow. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Whew. Wow.
You are so very welcome. See, consistency over time. I deal with people all the time. Well, I used to be vegan. I used to be vegetarian. Well, I did a 30-day fast. How long ago was that? Well, that was 30 years ago. I was about 20. So I'm just saying it's the consistency over time. you cannot you cannot hit it and quit it. You understand? You gotta be in it to win it. You gotta be in the place and space
Yes. Yes.
where you have the whole heart of intention to be whole, to be
Mhm.
absolutely in the integrity of the truth of yourself.
Yes.
Because there is no greater love. There's
No
no
great.
greater. Don't let these people fool y'all to being distracted.
Hmm.
You know, you were told, "Thou shalt love thy mother, father, creator God, thy Lord, with your whole body, heart, mind, with all of your might." That is the law. You were told to seek first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness, and all else would be added unto us.
Hmm.
Told to fast and pray, and the desires of our heart would be granted unto us. We were told to knock, and the door would be open, to seek, and we would find.
Yes.
You cannot just spout and rhetoricize and philosophize.
Hmm.
You have to literally be about loving the absolute and supreme intelligence with your whole body, heart, mind, with all of your might.
Yes.
This is not a competition. This is
Hmm.
about a harmonization in our resurrection that we are all carrying to rise. You understand? I don't care who comes to me. I'm on Cheshire Bridge Road, and I got the brothers who walking like women up in here. They come in here, and I'll take the wigs, and I'll take the bra, and I'll cut their hair, and and I remind them
Yes.
of who you are, And really, what the responsibility is, I don't care what it is. You shouldn't get caught up in all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That's
it's
right.
all the truth of yourself. Nourish
Yes.
yourselves. Cleanse
Mhm.
yourself. We're
Yes.
both male, female, both and neither. We're each
Mm-hmm.
male, female, both and neither. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So sometimes we may have a little bit more expression of our male self. Some of us grew up like tomboys. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? I'm just saying it's like it's perfectly natural. We are these points of an absolute and supreme intelligence to be supremely intelligent
Mm-hmm.
and caring,
Yes.
to see ourselves whole. We have to activate that imaging. See yourself well. See yourself losing the weight. See yourself honoring. See it. See it.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on to the image of yourself in your light. I don't care how far you've gone with the ditches and valleys of degradation. I don't care what you've done. Life is not holding anything over you. The sun is still shining, regardless of how disobedient all of us have been. You understand? The earth is still providing for us. The air is still blessing us. We're still breathing. God is still with us. Let go of your sin. Let go of your shame. Let go and release the pain by alkalizing your system. You don't alkalize your system with spelt flour pancakes.
Right.
You
Yeah.
understand? With
Yeah.
all of the nuts and the seeds and all of that stuff, all that is still acidified.
Mm-hmm.
The
So
teas,
you don't.
the
Uh-huh.
herbs, the herbs, the teas, you get more mineralization in the teas than you do in a plate of food.
Mm-hmm.
80% of our nutritional requirement has to come from water-based things. And we have
Yes.
to open up that bowel. So if your bowels, if you are 5'8", 5'5", 5'9", and 200 pounds, 250 pounds, or whatever. I'm just saying, even if your bowels are moving 3 times a day, it's not enough. The waste has to come out either through the skin, which is your largest eliminative organ. So getting into
Mm-hmm.
that detox bath and sweating because it's colorless, odorless, and tasteless, busting up that mucus, the mucus buster, busting up that mucus, that hot, that cayenne, that ginger, that horseradish. You understand that garlic, busting up that mucus so that the clay is going to pull and loosen and get those chemicals out and flushing it through the bowel.
Mm-hmm.
People say, well, the enemas ain't safe. I say, but eating the flesh of dead animals every day for your life wasn't safe either, but you did that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
And so people can reach me through my phone number. You text me if I'm not available, but I prefer to have a conversation with you. I know that sometimes you got to be a little bit patient, but I'll get to you. I
Mm-hmm.
know that we will be, modifying some things as I grow because, today is my 5th anniversary of being as Mother Earth's blessing holistic life center. 5 years. A lot of businesses don't last 5 years. So we're having our anniversary today. And then I have my 66 solar return tomorrow. We have Sunday empowerment circles at here at 1830 Cheshire Bridge for those who are local from 3 to 7. And then we are kind of adding our drum circle back into the Sunday circle for those who stay long enough. And then for those who get on my protocols, I do a Tuesday night Zoom call. I am aware that a lot of the failures in staying consistent is because we do not have consistent support.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
a lot of times we feel alone and
Mm-hmm.
misunderstood, and that people who love you will begin to ridicule you because you're doing something different or you're losing the weight and they're trying to figure out if you got AIDS because you're getting so skinny and all of this. I had one sister, she was beautiful. She was 6 feet tall, 33 years of age. She was 330 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
She lost 172 pounds on my protocols within a year. And
Wow.
when she went home, and she stayed in communication with me most of that time. And when she went home to Detroit, they kept asking her, "What's wrong with you? Are you sick?"
Wow.
She said, "Adama, they never asked me what was wrong with me while I was gaining all of that weight."
Okay.
The gaining of the weight is the retention of waste. It's the evidence that you're eating that which your body cannot utilize as fuel.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And so my online content is Adama Speaks. I want us to come to a point, keep me in your ear as much as possible. Why? Because I am the self appointed general in the army of God. You got to be sharp and you understand, you got to be supported in remembering that this is warfare. We're being warred against.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it used to be when the people were being warred against, they would respond by creating a strategy to protect themselves, defend themselves, or go on the offensive.
Mm-hmm.
The chemicals have put us in a place where we become complicit, complacent, and co-conspirating with our own demise.
Yes.
Now, and so everyone has to pay attention to their own degree of self-conviction,
Mm-hmm.
and then with your word, and put it in writing. I commit every atom and every cell of my being to being completely cleared, cleansed, purified, renewed, rebirthed, regenerated, rejuvenated, so that I am completely revivified, reconciled, harmonized, and resurrected in the light of the supreme intelligence that I am. What
Yes.
we put behind I
Mm-hmm.
am whole, I am cleansed, I am healed. Now you can say it, but then you got to facilitate it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't say I'm whole and healed and you still getting on the ribs and on the chicken and all. You can't. You understand? So no, we
Right.
want to be in the integrity. Integrity means 360 degrees
Mm-hmm.
of love, light, wisdom, truth, peace, poise, and power. See, I
Yes.
paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for all them degrees where you got one or two or three degrees from these people.
Wow.
Right? And those
So,
one, two, or three degrees that you got from these people put you in a place where you could be black, brown, yellow, pink face behind stupidity
mm-hmm.
of oppression. Is the system is oppressive.
Yes.
The people who are working the system, if they start liberating, then we can make it work for us. We can
Mm-hmm.
shift the whole frequency. But the reality of it is that there is no greater success in the kingdoms and queendoms of God under the eternal order and our becoming lawgivers on behalf of the eternal government.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people say, "Oh, well, you should run for office," I say, "I'm already office in the eternal government. I'm already."
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Wow. Wow. This is amazing. Wow. Thank you so much.
And so I want you to make sure that you are writing down everything that you're doing, Bernice. I want you to really document your process and I want you to keep track of it. And I want you to really be in the place where we're gonna give you 6 months. All right,
Yeah.
6 months of consistency, and then we're gonna come right back to this
Yes.
and then and we do it again.
Okay.
So
Wow.
that you get a chance to be the living testament and give a living testimony because most of the people who interview me, they never follow my protocol.
Wow.
They
Well.
don't. They interview me, and I guess it's like everybody wants to have a good program or a good show, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
Yes.
they're not on protocol.
I have
And
my herbs right there. You can hear me that? They're right near.
right,
And your, I apologize. And your herbal mix, I put it on everything with my food.
yes, absolutely.
Yes. Right here. I have my, and let me say,
Okay.
everything came so immaculately packaged, labeled, everything, tell you how to do it. She give you a card and
The tablet.
with
Hmm.
the, and it has the information on here as well. I have my herbs that I have to take every day. I have one in there seeping now. And then I have my, this is the one I
The
have not
detox bath.
used. Yes, I have to, hopefully, I'll set up my spa today.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
I'll be doing that. And I have my toothpaste powders in there, and I have my clay
Your favorite
here.
way. Hmm.
Yes, and my butter. And I have been detoxifying on my, I normally don't get anything here on my face, but now it's
It's yeah,
coming out white
right.
bumps.
Right. And that's why you put the red clay. I be in my clay all day. A lot of times I even sleep in it. It just it makes you, I don't know, it makes you feel absolutely gorgeous.
Okay.
You know,
Yes.
and the brothers can use it, particularly where they shave and all of
Mm-hmm.
that. But you know that I'm telling you that red earth, the symbolism is that there has been so much blood spilt upon this planet that there's a strata that is just red.
Mm-hmm.
And my personal testimonial as a result of doing the clays and the protocols and doing the clay particularly for 42 years
Wow.
is that it has given me a depth of reverence, a respect, an appreciation, a mindfulness of all of those who have walked this earth,
Mm.
all of those who have gifted so much. It has given me a reverence for all orders of existence and just the divinity, the sanctity, and the sacredness of what it is to live on a
Mm-hmm.
planet that is 80% water spinning in space.
Mm-hmm.
And the space that we're in is eternity.
Yes. Yes. You know, I always say, I've been saying for years, like, we don't die. You know, I say I don't die, you know. And I saw it with my dad. He just left. He was like, I'm out of here. And it was peaceful. And it's just amazing to see that um, we don't die.
And we and we want to be in a place where there was no sickness, illness, disease, no cancer, no heart disease, no strokes. That you understand, and that's the life.
Yes.
That's the life. None of that. We shouldn't have any of that.
Right.
Be able to live a long life, but
Hmm.
also to live a life in reverence, in honor, so that as we're maturing, we're coming into eldership. We should become more powerful as we mature. We should
Yeah.
become more dynamic as we mature. We should have greater wisdom and light as we mature. But if you are not committed and not successful in doing what's truly in your best interest over time, you don't really mature.
Hmm.
And if you continue to be a detriment to yourselves and yourself,
Hmm.
then you've never really self actualized or self realized in the truth of the fullness of that which you truly are as a heart, mind, intent, and will of God.
Yes.
So we were told to seek the truth, to know the truth. The truth sets us free. Liberation is about the intelligence of our being completely free so that we function harmoniously with the intelligence of existence. Therefore, we're not going to be in contention. We're not going to be in warring with one another. You understand? We learn how to love and cultivate love. We learn how to forgive. We learn how to master ourselves first, because there's nothing that we can do outside of ourselves. And this is where I've created what I call my Sister Health Initiative, because there's so many women who care to do something. So we have our daycares, we have our our shelters, we have our feed the hungry, we have all of these institutions that we create under 501c3 and all of this. But then we ourselves did not know to stop eating the meat, the dairy, the eggs, the chicken, the fish. You understand? We depended upon foundations to fund us, and we try to shape our mission to fit the money.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
we're still not giving the people what they really require in terms of cultivating the restoration of the wealth and the integrity of the who and the truth of who they really are.
Hmm. Yes.
And so, those sisters who know that you want to do something, you know that your organization is not doing as well as you'd like, you know that you want to create something that doesn't exist in terms of a real alternative to the public or private school situation, then come to me to get support in regaining your footing
Hmm.
in your own health and wellness so that we are healing
Yes.
ourselves. and that we are able to speak and to address what needs to really happen wherever we are.
Mhm.
This is not this is not a one woman show. It's an all woman show. It's an
Mhm.
all person show.
Mhm.
From the blackest black to the lightest light, we all need to be engaged in
Yes.
exalting a full effort in our living, our restoration, our clearing, our consecration, our purification, so that we are the evidence of the kingdom and queendoms of God
Mhm.
having. It's our
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sister, for every opportunity. I'm a
Thank
phone call away to help you with your journeying.
you.
And
Okay.
just let me know how I can be of any assistance. And
Okay.
if we need to do this again before your 6 months, we can. All
Great.
right. Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I love you, mother.
You're very
And I
welcome.
wish you can go live with your Sunday, with your the
Gather.
gather. I wish you can be live so we can participate as well.
Well,
I mean,
we'll
it is.
see about the feasibility of that. We had tried. I thought about that before, but like everybody is sitting and everybody's there, not coming in and out, and this and that. So
Yes.
we may have to create a circle additional,
Yes.
to do that. But otherwise, for those who get on my protocols, join me on my Tuesday night Zoom call
Yes.
at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All
And you
right.
sent the link for that as well.
It's given Monday. It's given out on Mondays. You get a weekly message, and then you'll see the link in your coming from Mother Earth's Blessing at Gmail.
Okay.
All
All
right, so you'll get that. Okay.
okay. All
All right.
right. Thank you again. And
No,
we appreciate all the amazing, wonderful work that you're doing. The power is with you. You is there. Thank you. Thank you. We love you. And thank you guys for watching. And don't forget to love yourself first because you are worth it. Peace.
Absolutely. Bless you. Thank you. Mhm.